नमस्कार दोस्तों, दी अंकुश शो में जो मैंने अगला इंटरव्यू लिया है वो श्री सुरेंद्र सिंह सर का लिया है। दोस्तों, सर डीएवी फर्टिलाइजर पब्लिक स्कूल बबराल में पढ़ाते हैं और सर वहाँ पर जो सब्जेक्ट पढ़ा रहे हैं वो सब्जेक्ट है कंप्यूटर्स का। दोस्तों, सर ने भी मुझे क्लास 6 से लेके क्लास 9 तक कंप्यूटर्स पढ़ाई है। दोस्तों, इस इंटरव्यू में आप सर का अनुभव सुनेंगे कंप्यूटर्स को पढ़ाने का, क्योंकि सर का कंप्यूटर पढ़ाने का जो एक्सपीरियंस है वो 30 साल से भी ज़्यादा का एक्सपीरियंस है। दोस्तों, सर ने कंप्यूटर तब पढ़ानी शुरू करी थी जब मार्केट में विंडोज़ पहली बार आई थी। जब विंडोज़ 95 आई थी तब से सर कंप्यूटर्स को पढ़ा रहे हैं। इनफैक्ट उससे पहले से भी पढ़ा रहे हैं जब खाली डॉस बेस्ड सिस्टम चला करते थे। दोस्तों, इस इंटरव्यू में आपको जानकारी मिलेगी कि पहले के टाइम पर कंप्यूटर्स में किस तरह की चीज़ें चलती थी, कैसे चीज़ें कवर अप होती थी। जब डॉस बेस्ड सिस्टम थे तब उसमें किस तरह से वर्किंग होती थी, विंडोज़ आने पे क्या वर्किंग होती थी, सर का बच्चों के साथ कैसा एक्सपीरियंस रहा है, कैसे उन्होंने अपनी मेथोडोलॉजी को चेंज किया, वो सब चीज़ें सीखेंगे। इसके अलावा इस इंटरव्यू से फैकल्टीज़ भी जान पाएंगी कि अगर कंप्यूटर्स में बच्चों को लॉजिक क्लियर करना हो तो कैसे वो बच्चों को क्लियर करें। तो देखते हैं सुरेंद्र सर का इंटरव्यू। धन्यवाद। नमस्कार दोस्तों, ई क्लस्टर अंकुर चैनल पे मैं अपने शो माय अंकुर शो में एक बार फिर से हाजिर हूँ। दोस्तों, जो मैंने इसमें टीचर्स और फैकल्टी का इंटरव्यू शूट किया था उसमें आज इंटरव्यू की कड़ी में मैं जो इंटरव्यू लेके आ रहा हूँ वो एक जानी मानी कंप्यूटर की फैकल्टी जिन्हें स्कूल में पढ़ाते हुए 30 साल से भी ज़्यादा का एक्सपीरियंस हो चुका है और वो 30 साल से ज़्यादा समय से स्कूल में कंप्यूटर पढ़ा रहे हैं और कंप्यूटर के सब्जेक्ट्स को डील कर रहे हैं। दोस्तों, अगर हम आपसे बात करते हैं तो जिस स्कूल में वो पढ़ा रहे हैं उस स्कूल का नाम है डीएवी फर्टिलाइजर पब्लिक स्कूल बबराला और जिनसे मैं मुलाकात करा रहा हूँ उनका नाम है श्री सुरेंद्र सिंह जी।
नमस्कार।
नमस्कार सर, कैसे हैं आप सर?
फाइन, मैं बढ़िया हूँ। आप कैसे हैं?
मैं बहुत बढ़िया हूँ सर। सर, पहला सवाल तो मेरे माइंड में ये आता है कि आप टीचिंग प्रोफेशन में आए सर, और टीचिंग प्रोफेशन में लोग डिफरेंट सब्जेक्ट्स लेते हैं, कोई मैथ्स पढ़ाता है, कोई साइंस पढ़ाता है, और जैसे कि हम जान रहे हैं कि आपको एक्सपीरियंस 30 साल से भी ज़्यादा का है, तो उस ज़माने के हिसाब से कंप्यूटर को एज अ सब्जेक्ट आपने कैसे चूज़ किया सर?
जी, एक्चुअली व्हेन आई वाज अ स्टूडेंट और पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन आई joined the MSc botany, but in the meantime some of the friends were talking about this computer, so that was the initial stage. I remember it was 1985 when the first computer work came into the India. And I completed my this graduation in 1988. Later I joined my post graduation in 1989, but in between due to the friend circle we came across that now the computer is being emerged as a new field. So we just in our mind we thought that why we should not go to the computer field, because there are lot of job opportunities. So I shifted to the in between I shifted to the computer. I gave one interview entrance test and I cleared it. I joined the computer faculty and training. After completing 1 year training, I was the topper of the batch.
Okay.
So I got the opportunity to teach on the same institute where I was the student.
Okay.
So I taught for the 6 months in that institute, and later I got opportunity to join DAV Uchahar as a computer teacher. And from that moment, when I entered into the school and taught for at least for 1 week, I got a lot of respect, and that motivated me to become a good teacher.
Okay. So one thing I want to ask you that at that time when you were doing this training in the field of computers, then in 89 or 90 we talk about, what type of training they provide to you, sir?
Actually that time totally DOS based computers were available.
Yes sir.
So in my training period, I learned this. I remember that DOS was there for the operating system.
Yes, sir.
Microsoft Word, in place of Microsoft Word, basically Word Star
Word star.
was used, and most of the languages, Pascal I learned, Fortran I learned, COBOL I learned that time, and these were the basically language where a lot of commands were needed to be remembered.
Okay, okay. Actually, that at that time there was DOS-based computer.
Yes, DOS based.
I want to tell to the viewers that if you see this interview, that you will see that in 88 and 8010 period, if we talk about the DOS-based systems were there, not Windows were used in the system.
Windows came into 1995.
Windows came in the year of 1995, and at that time, in place of MS Word, the
Word
user
star.
of the computers use the Word star for their working in DOS-based system.
And for database, basically Lotus 123
Yes, sir.
was used.
Lotus 123 was
Lotus
used.
123.
Okay, okay. And the basic language was there.
And
Something.
basic was there. Basic was there.
Basic language was there.
I started learning this programming from the basic only.
Basic only.
Yes.
Okay. After that, when you came in the Uchahar, then how you progressed and come to the DAV?
In Punjab, basically, initially we were having only one computer in the computer lab, that was called as a BBC computer.
BBC computer.
Basically, it was assembled, CPU and keyboard was assembled with the this monitor itself. It was a single piece of computer, and we started working on that. And then later, slowly, when this new computers came into the existence, then minor changes were there, but almost for 2 years we worked on the BBC computer only, and there were no more computers in the system. And after 3 years I dropped the DAV Uchar and I joined this DAV Babrala in 1995. Then I got here Pentium 1 computers. So Pentium 1 means they were 4-bit computers. 4-bit operating system was
4-bit
used,
operating system.
and Windows 95 was the Windows 3.0 was the first version of the Windows in which I started working.
UI-based computers.
Yes.
Earlier there was UI-based computer, character-based computers. Now after that, when Windows came, it is a 3.0 version. I think it was a GUI-based version.
No, it was not GUI based. Initial I started working in 3.0 version, and that was also command based,
Command-based.
and floppy disk was needed to boot the system. Around in I think 96.
Windows 95.
Yes, Windows 95 was there. That was totally GUI based. Basically, commands were given in the just using the mouse click.
Mouse click. Sir, there is one question that at that time when we talk about the school and you are saying about the DAV public school, you taught it there. It was a CBSE based school.
Yes.
Okay. Then at that time, what language was taught in the school in computers?
Initially, basic was there, and I think basic.
COBOL and
No,
Fortran.
COBOL was not taken place. Initially, when I joined here, the basic was and basic and logo. These two were the logo. Basically, it is a graphics oriented
Graphics.
language, and simple commands were there to just equip the children to learn the basic programming skill.
Okay.
So that was called as a language oriented, graphics oriented. So using the commands, generally the children make the small designs like the rectangle, circle, square, heart, like these pictures were made.
Some commands were like the RT90.
Yes,
used and
commands were
FD90.
used as a FD90, RT90. That means FD means forward movement, and RT means turning to the right direction, left direction, like this.
Okay.
And then basic was the first language which I started teaching here in 1995, 96. Almost I think up to 97 I taught this basic and logo.
Okay. So from this, when you were saying that earlier you were working in the DOS-based system, and when you came to Babrala in 95, then the Windows 95 came. That is, there was transformation from command-based system to the GUI-based system, graphical user interface-based system. Okay. Then for that, have you faced any problem in working in that system?
Yes.
In initial days, if I talk about.
Initially, when I joined, during the interview, I was asked that, do you know how to operate the Windows 95 operating system? You know, I said no, I don't. Even before joining, I never heard about the Windows 95.
Okay.
right? It was my first experience to come across with the Windows 95 that this is the operating system now being used. So Mr. LVGR Murthy was taking the interview. So he suggested, do you have you worked in the Excel? I said no.
Okay.
Because there was a gap of 1.5 years when I left the DAV Uchaha. I was at home for approx for 1.5 years, and during that period I started my coaching center.
Okay.
So basically I was not teaching the computer that time. I started teaching the maths and science. Right. So just I was out of the field, but when I joined here, just Mr. LVGR Murthy asked me, are you willing to attend any training program if you have been asked to go? Then I said yes, definitely I want to go and I want to learn. So school spent money on me and sent me for 15 days training in Sahibabad. There was a institute. They were providing the computer training. So I just went for 15 days and initial basics I learned there, and afterwards I started practicing and doing the work on these things, and slowly I grasped myself. Self-study.
So when we talk about the period of 92 when you started teaching the computers, and then when you left for 1.5 years, and then again you joined and you have done the training in Windows 95. After that, we say that earlier it was seen that I have also studied in DAV school under you. You have taught me the computers. It is well being known. So earlier it was known that when in DAV Babrala we talk about 2 new multimedia computers were came, if I remember that at that time, and the lab was very small lab, and at that time it was said that it was told to us that AC will be equipped in that particular lab, and when you have to enter in the lab, then you should not put shoes inside. Okay,
Yes.
so that there should be no dust inside the lab, otherwise system will get some problem. Is that true?
Yes, it is true. Actually, in initial stage, people were not much familiar with this electronic technology of this computer. So it was just like we can say highly protective equipments.
Okay.
So we were instructed that shoes are not allowed. If dust particles are there, the certain circuits may be damaged or system may get damaged soon. It is not to be exposed to the sunlight. Even because that time we used the storage media as a floppy disk. And floppy disk basically that is made up of flexible plastic, and it is coated with a hard plastic
Yes.
so that it doesn't bend or don't get the data damage. So due to the protection, because every time to switch on the system we need to put the floppy disk. So due to the precautionary measure it was suggested that you don't carry your shoes inside, because if more dust particles are there, the floppy may get damaged, or the floppy drive it may be dusty, and maybe that it is
And
not
virus
reading the-
may come
yes.
also.
So it may not read the data from the floppy disk due to all these things. But nowadays the systems are
Much open. We
Many
can use the laptop
strong.
in the sunlight also.
yes.
Okay.
Nowadays you can carry everything.
Yes, sir. Sir, coming to the teaching point, if we talk about in the period of 95 and 96, in that, if we talk about the 12th class students, then there were board exams of computer happens at that time.
No, actually when I joined this school, I joined as a VRD.
Okay.
Primary teacher. I started teaching up to class 7th, 8th. Right. Later, when class 9th and 10th came in existence, the first batch I started teaching the foundation technology, that was computer application. Sorry,
Okay.
computer application, and HTML was the language which was taught in that. So there were exams, board exams for the computer
10th and 12th
also,
board.
but it was as a additional subject.
Okay.
It was used as a additional subject, or we can say that a skill-based subject. But in class 12th also there were computer science. That was the main subject used, and language was taught as C++.
Teachers in 12th class.
Yes, C++, and board exams were conducted.
Now if we talk about the schooling, We can say that in the CBSE board, earlier that when I was studying in 12th class, I was also studied the C++ language. There was C++ and some the portion of some database was there, and a little bit portion of you can say the introduction of computer networks with Boolean algebra was there in 11th and 12th class. And there were no computer subject as a core subject in class 9th and 10th in earlier days, if we talk about till 98 and 99 or 2000 we can say. But now we see that the computer is becoming the main subject also for the 10th class students and 12th class students.
Still also computer is being used as a either additional subject or as a skill subject.
Okay.
There are two categories. CBSE has divided the subject into two categories. One is used as an additional subject, that means that will not be counted in the main subject.
For which
Just-
class you are talking about, sir? For which class?
For class 9th and
For
10th
class
I am
9th.
talking about. In class 9th and 10th, two branches are there. One is as an additional subject and one is as a skill subject. If the school has opted as an additional subject, that children will appear in the board exam, they will attend the exam and they will get the marks. Marks will be reflected in the mark sheet. But basically it is not counted in the main subject. The percentage is basically calculated on main subjects only.
Okay.
It is as an additional subject, that means additional learning. But nowadays the CBSE has started the same subjects as a skill subject also.
Okay.
In case of skill subject, if the children opt the skill subject and gets failed in the main subject, that is math, science and SST, this and passing in the skill subject, the skill subject will replace and will take place as a main subject,
Okay.
and the failing subject will become as an additional subject.
Okay.
So nowadays the CBSE has given this advantage so that more and more children are passing. Those who are facing the problem in mathematics or facing the problem in science or SST, they are easily getting passed. And also this is the skill subject nowadays, it is need of the era, we can say that. Children must go through this skill subject, they must opt this skill subject, because if you go to any of the field in the nowadays in the jobs, any field, whether you are engineer or a doctor or a scientist or lab assistant or anything, even the small to the higher post, computer literacy is mandatory. So it gives the basic skills to the children, and they, whenever they join the job, they are basically confident to handling the computer related works.
So one question is there. When we were we study in the school at a time till 5th class the logo language was used, and till 8th class we were taught the basic language. If we correctly talk about the DAV schools or other schools, we talk about till 8th class, is these languages are taught correctly, or they are opted for the other languages in computers?
No, actually since last 10 to 15 years back, DAV has designed its own books. DAV has its own publication department. So they have designed the computer books from class 3rd to 8th.
Okay.
So now we are bound to teach the books published by the DAV only.
Okay.
In class 3rd, the basic computer introductory part is there, and one software, that is open source software, TuxPaint, is being taught. It's just fun and learn software. There are various GUI based tools available. Children just they pick the tools and makes the drawing etc. on the screen and they enjoy.
They enjoy it.
So the basic purpose of keeping this TuxPaint is so that children may become familiar with handling the mouse and how to click on the tools and how to give the command. So to make them familiar with the system, TuxPaint is being used in class 4th and 5th. I think in 4th the paintbrush is there, and in class 5th I don't remember
It's okay, sir.
that what
It's okay,
subject
sir.
it is, because I am not teaching these
It's
classes.
okay, sir.
But 6th onward I can tell you, in class 6 open source office is being used, where the
Open office.
open office. Children work on this open office writer, and in class 6 this
Okay.
open office calc is also there.
Okay.
A little part of the open office impress is there. in class 7th they have brought one open source software that is called as Scratch. Scratch is a basically, it's like a block building software
Yeah.
where the logical statements are given in the form of the blocks. Children have to think and organize these blocks into the logical steps, right? And the main purpose of this is that it's a basically a animation software. So that the children may develop their own logic.
It is basically
that-
for brainstorming, you can say.
Yes, brainstorming as well as development of the logic building.
Okay.
And in class 8th, HTML is being taught, and still the Q basic is there.
The Q basic.
Now DAV is going to modify these books to AI. The
Yeah.
reason behind is that CBSE has now brought one more subject, which is the emerging subject nowadays, AI. So in class 10th and 9th and 10th, we have also opted this AI in place of the computer application and foundation technology. Now we have shifted to AI. Currently I am teaching AI in class 9th and 10th, and this Python class 11th and 12th has now changed from C++ to the Python, because Python is the nowadays most popular language. It is a multi-dimensional.
Yes, sir.
It can be used for the web development, it can be used for the database management, it can be used for developing the application softwares as well as for the programming purpose. So now in class 11th and 12th we are using the Python, and in class 9th and 10th we are currently teaching the AI.
AI. The C++ has been gone from the
Yes,
syllabus.
it has gone. Still it is there under the CBSE. But now few schools are opting this C++, that is called computer science old and computer science
So
new.
they are saying that they have given the option correctly that you can taught either C++ in 11th, 12th class, or you can taught the Python.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Python is basically the emerging language, but you can say that Python has came before Java. It came in 1991 and Java came in 1995. But actually, if we talk about the today's period, and in this period we can say that the artificial intelligence and the machine learning area, both area are basically sensitive to Python language, and the Python provides a drastic answer to all the questions of machine learning and artificial intelligence, and also of data analytics. That's why Python is taught in class 11 to 10. This is my opinion, sir. Something?
Actually, AI is good for development of AI applications.
Yes, sir.
Because it has lots of libraries. That basically the
Python.
main motive of using the Python is this data analysis.
Yes, sir.
Because AI machines basically works on the huge volume of data, and managing huge volume of data, analyzing huge volume of data is a difficult
Yes,
task.
sir.
So it has the various libraries through which we can basically analyze the data, which makes the task easier for development of the AI program. So that is the reason.
Now, sir, I am changing the questions and coming to your students, sir. Sir, you have, as you have taught, it is a vast year of experience of your knowledge. How will you see the students of the earlier days and the current students, sir?
Yes, good question. If we talk about the students of 90s, 95, 96 and
2000.
up to 2000, see, the children were basically confined to the classroom only.
Okay.
They were totally confined to the classroom, and totally they were depend on the teachers' lectures and the books.
Actually, I can
These
tell
were only these two were the companion for the student. They either they study from the book, or
They are
whatever
teachers.
the teacher taught, they believe on that. But nowadays there is a drastic change. Children themselves they learn. They have a lot of opportunities to learn. That means they can explore any information in a fingertips using the
at
internet.
that time we can say that there was no internet available.
Yes, that time there were only two sources that I told you. One was the book and another was the teacher,
Okay.
right? But in the current era, if we talk about our current scenario, we can say that the students are exploring a lot of things. They have means lot of knowledge. Only they need to be facilitated and guided to use that knowledge in a right path.
Sir, there is a question about Any experience of your life with a student that have changed your teaching methodology?
Yes, of course. Actually, students are the main source of changing the teaching methodology. As per my opinion, if I say, as you have seen, lot of prizes are there.
Yes, sir.
As
I
per
will come
my
to this question,
opinion,
sir. I will come to this question later, sir.
as per my opinion, basically a good teacher is a good teacher who changes his or her own methodology as per the student's need.
Requirement. Okay.
And I keep on doing that. I always keep on doing that. I support them, I teach them, but sometimes what happens, some of the children are means the below average, or they are too weak. Their grasping power is very slow. Currently I have one student, and many students means came across in such situations where I have dealt with them, and I have seen that they have made a drastic change. I will give you one example. The student name was Arun Yadav.
Okay.
He was living in the village
Nearby
house,
village.
that is the basically outside this township. He was the weak student, and his concentration was very weak, very weak. So when I used to teach in the class, when I speak or give my lecture, he was not able to concentrate. So once he just consulted me, sir, I am not getting anything. So I said, you listen carefully. Once, twice, thrice I observed him that in classroom when I asked, have you got my point? Do you understand? He always said yes. But later when I asked question, it's totally blank. So just what I did, one day I was thinking what strategy I should plan so that at least 15%, 20% or 25%, whatever I am speaking, should go in his mind. So just I asked them separately, called him in the computer lab, and I asked that what is the problem with you? Or are you understanding, or is any other problem which you are not reflecting in the classroom due to the hesitation? He said, sir, मेरे को आप जब इंग्लिश में बोलते हैं कुछ नहीं समझ में आता है. This was the statement given by the student. सर जब आप इंग्लिश में बोलते हैं तो मुझे कुछ नहीं समझ में आता. I was shocked कि this is the main reason. So just I found that the child was weak in English, and due to that weakness he could not understand in the class. So just I asked him, can you do one favor for me? He said, sir, बताइए. मैंने कहा, you are required to stay at least for 1 hour after school hours. So school gets over at 1:30, and I asked him to stay up to the 2:30. I said, you ask your mother to give more food so that you may stay here for 1 hour, and separately I will start teaching to you the language in which you understand.
Okay.
Slowly initially I started teaching in Hindi. But everything can't be taught. A language can't be taught in Hindi.
They are basically technical terms.
Yes. So there are certain technical terms. So I started teaching Hindi. जो भी बोलना है उसको हिंदी में बताते थे कि इसका मतलब ये है, इसका मतलब ये है. Slowly I said, now you try to study, read the book, try to understand a small sentences what I am saying. If it is clear, then you say yes. Otherwise, totally you say no.
Okay.
Then slowly he kept on focusing on my talk. सर क्या कह रहे हैं? वो थोड़ी चीजें उसको समझ में आने लगी. फिर मैंने उसको ये बोला कि भाई अब इसके लिए एक सलूशन है कि आपको इंग्लिश में लिखना तो इंग्लिश में. I motivated him कि you have to give the answer in English. So now what to do? If I will keep on teaching in Hindi, so you will not be in position to write the answer in English. Then he started making efforts, and slowly he grasped, and finally, when the exam was there, what he said, he got 90 marks in CS and said, sir, आप नहीं होते तो शायद मैं CS छोड़ देता.
और
तो-
इंग्लिश भी नहीं सीख पाता।
Yes, and currently one student is Om Avasti.
Oh,
A slow learner, very slow learner. So while I take my class, my prime focus is on Om Avasti. I know they say a good teacher after taking 2-3 periods or a week,
understand the students.
he get that who is the good, who is not good, or who are the slower students, weaker student, easily can observe. I have a vast experience due to it. I easily observe, and within a week I come to know that who needs more attention.
Okay.
Om Avasti was in class 9. He was very slow in learning, understanding as well. So what happens when once I was sitting during the PTM, his mother came in the PTM. He asked, "Sir, कैसा कर रहा है?" I said, he never makes notebook. He never give reply in the classroom. So just I politely asked Om Avasti, you try to speak. हम कुछ नहीं बोलेंगे, आपको बेटा समझ में आता है तो बोलिए, नहीं आता है तो अब बोलिए नहीं आया. I motivated him constantly. I motivated him, and he started speaking. Now he is studying in class 12.
Okay.
And what happened in class 11? Just I motivated. Nothing else I did. But I said, if you are facing any problem, you can contact me anytime. To me, you come to me. I will help you. But you do your efforts. And he got motivated. In class 11, he stood 5th position
In the class.
in the class. His mother and father, whenever they attend the PTM, they always praise, "Sir, आपने इसको पता नहीं क्या जादू कर दिया है कि इसके अंदर चेंज आ गया." So finally, what I mean to say, that a teacher is a good teacher when the teacher changes his or her strategy according to the need of the student. If you are not doing so, that means you are not a good teacher. You are not a good teacher. Some classes I continuously, totally I speak in English, throughout English. When I teach class 12 science, right? Students are better than the commerce section.
Okay.
So I keep on teaching English, throughout English. But as soon as I switch over to the class
Commerce section.
12th IP, commerce section, I know that children are weak. So I use bilingual
Okay.
language. Sometimes I speak in Hindi, sometimes I speak in English, sometimes the things are to be explained in English, because ultimately they are required to write the answer in English. So I keep on explaining them English, but side by side I tell them in Hindi also. Hindi also. So,
The main
and
thing-
this is only the reason. If you ask any teacher that my result is always a good result, only the reason is that I keep on changing my strategy as per the need of the student. That is there.
Sir, one thing I came to know that when you taught in the class and the results you are getting is mostly I have seen that the information I have gotten, mostly the result of your subject is above 90%, and I have come to know that you have received much more trophies in the field of computer from the college. Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it true? Actually, I started teaching class 10 since 2005.
Okay.
In the first batch, my result was around 90% in the field of computers. And there is a provision in the school to appreciate the teacher as well as to the students, so that more and more students get good marks and create the name and fame of the school. So we started, the school has started this system of appreciating the students. So since 2005, continuously my result is around 88, 89, 90. This year also I achieved 91.8% in class 10 and 88 point something in class 12. Exactly I don't remember. I forgot that, but that is 88.6 or 88.2.
It's okay, sir.
That is there. So this basically this prize motivates her. teachers.
Yes, sir.
We have a criteria that those who will produce 75% above marks, they will achieve the trophy during the annual function.
Okay.
So it's a kind of a, basically a appreciation to
Yeah,
motivate the
appreciation.
teachers as well as the
To give their best to the students, sir. I will show you the trophies the sir has received. And one thing I want to tell you that initially I was studying in the David School, Bagrala, and I have learned computers from the sir only, and that's why I have a good knowledge of computer field. Sir, last question is there from my side. If we talk about the 12th board exams of computers, then after Corona, we can say past 15 years, has the CBSE has transformed the pattern of paper? That is,
Yes, yes. Actually, earlier only theory-based question papers were there, some application-oriented questions, some logical questions. I'm talking about especially in my subject. In other subject also, there were no objective type questions were not there.
okay.
But in 2020, when the COVID came into existence, basically school were closed for approx 1 year duration.
In the time of COVID.
So children were just idle at home. They were sitting at home. We started teaching them online. Classes were conducted online, but initial 3-4 months have gone. So suddenly the CBSE came into the change that this objective type questions paper will be there, because theoretical thorough knowledge were not given to the children. Some of the children were having the drawback of this internet connection. Because
were not having
different
location.
children comes from the different basically the
Locality and the
locality and the family background. So some of them were having this all technological equipments, laptop, desktop, even the mobile phones. Some parents were not in a position to afford this mobile recharge and etc. and having the separate mobile for the children. So CBSE just changed the pattern of the objective type questions, and as per my opinion, if I say, the CBSE, I don't know that what CBSE has observed, but it is my observation that attending this objective type question paper is a little difficult than attending the question paper of this theoretical question.
Because in the objective type paper, they can ask the question from
Yes.
the inside
The
of the
reason
document.
is the objective type questions require thorough reading of the content and having a knowledge. Sometimes certain objective type questions are based on the applications, real life examples. So the children must have the thorough knowledge. And now CBSE has changed the pattern. Approx 40% objective paper is there, and
Okay.
just 60% theoretical paper is there.
Currently,
Obviously, there is a difference in the difficulty level.
Okay.
Easy, medium, and
Alright.
difficult level is there. But 40% objective type question.
In the current scenario.
Yes, in the current scenario. And see, scoring in objective type question paper is not easy task. Not easy task. Even then, our children are performing better.
Sir, one thing I want to, last question I want to ask that some students give a complaint that while teaching computers, they don't understand how to develop the logic of a particular code. For example, if we say, for example, I am saying a little example I am taking that. For example, if we are teaching the students the subject of Python in class 11 and 12, and let's say he has not opted for computer in class 9th and 10th. Let's say that he is not having the computers in 10th, and in 11th he is taking the computer science subjects, and for the first time he is taking the subject of Python. And at that time, if we teach the student that particular subject, then the logic, for example, if we say there is a program of designing, calculate the factorial of a given number in Python language.
Yes.
Then the logic which we told to him and how we are implementing in that particular programming language, a student could not understand. How this problem could be resolved or you solve?
Yes. Actually, logic building can take place at any stage.
Okay.
At any stage.
Yes.
See, when I was a student, I was the student of basically the primary school initially. After my fifth class, I shifted to Lucknow for the class 6, 7 middle class studies, and later on I studied in the city. But never I studied computer. That time there were no computer subject. Okay, I started learning computer after graduation, and slowly I built my logic. Similarly, here logic building is basically easy for the children when we teach them in a giving a simple examples. What I do, I used to teach this Python. The children, those who are not opting this skill subject, they also learn the Python.
Okay.
But if step by step we go, slowly first we teach them just making a flowchart, initial, that how logic is built, and just let them open their brain. Ask them a scenario and just you ask them, if I say, when I start this Python, so what I do generally, first 15 days, I talk to them. Let's suppose you have been asked to go to the market and you have to buy some vegetables. Your mother has given a list, you have to buy some vegetables. What you will do? You will buy those things and you will come back. What does it mean? This is a simple step-by-step logic. That whatever has been told, you are just going and doing it. Sometimes a certain situation arises where you have to take your own decision on it, on your own. That time, that is called as a conditional programming. So just I asked them that suppose there is a condition and your mother initially taught that when there is any kind of a obstacle on the way, just you be aside. So what will happen one day you are going to the market and a truck is coming in front of you. So at that time what we do? We take decision, either we go to the left or we go to the right and we save ourselves. So here what we are doing, we are taking the decision
From our brain.
our own brain. So this way I used to teach them that there is another programming concept that is called as a conditional programming. That is called selection. One is the procedural and another is the
conditional
selection.
selection.
Then third is that is iteration.
Iteration.
So in case of iteration, what we need to do? Sometimes we need to repeat a certain steps. This way I just try to develop the logic. First I used to build the concept that what is conditional programming, what are the iteration programming. So in iteration what will happen? Certain steps will be repeated again and again. So children keep on thinking. So when I teach them, I ask them, in this program or a particular program, do you require certain steps to be repeated again and again? Or if those steps are repeated to be 10 times, would you like to write these 3 sentences 10 times? Which one is better? Children say writing 1 time is better. Then I say, if 1 time you are writing and need is for 10 times, that means what? You have to iterate these 3. Again you have to go back, again you have to go back. So this way I first make them understand
The logic.
that how the programming is done. Certain programs may require a procedural programming, that is step by step. Some may be required as a conditional, some may be required iteration. And then slowly I build the concept of the construct, that looping construct, what is conditional construct, and children start generally the grasping the things.
It is a nice interview with you, sir. At the last, I want to ask you, what type of suggestion you will give to the students of current time who are in the board exams of 10th and
Yes,
12th?
of course, this is very good question. generally I observe that nowadays what happens when we teach them programming or any means computer subject. So in programs what happens, children generally they go to the internet, they find the solution, they copy. My suggestion to the student is that if you want to be a good programmer or a good computer literacy or good programming skill, you keep on thinking. Keep on thinking, try to do the things on your own. Sometimes what happens, the children do the wonderful things which even we don't expect them
Okay.
that they can do.
Sometimes we see.
They do wonderful things.
Yes, yes, sometimes they do.
Some of the children they are, they
We are
do
not
wonders.
expecting from them.
Yes,
and
we
they
are not expecting, and they generally do the wonders. I remember around in 2001 or 2002, one student in class 5th was from this Chhattisgarh. He belongs to Chhattisgarh.
Okay.
Name I don't remember. He was means so much fond of computer that he was having an interest. He keep on exploring the new
Reading
things.
in the computers.
He was very expert in typing. Even you can't just observe that which key he has pressed.
Interest.
He was so fast in class 5th.
In class 5th.
That means his interest was towards the technology, and now he is as a engineer somewhere, a good engineer. I think currently he is in abroad.
Okay.
Okay. So advice, if you want to become a good programmer or want to have a good knowledge of the computer, then my advice is that you try to solve the problem on your own. If you will go to the internet, lot of solutions are there, lot of solutions. Any question, you write any question, you will get hundreds of solutions for that. So if we are doing this, this will not be, will help you to grow as a good computer engineer or a programmer. So logic building is basically a game of thinking. So my advice to the children is that if you want, go to the field of computer, never go to the internet, try to solve the problem on your own. Hit and trial,
It is important.
it is a subject, hit and trial.
Thank you, sir, for giving me that time for this interview. And it is a nice interview with you. And the knowledge, I think the students who will see this interview will learn very much how to study computers and what happens in the early time of computer when it started in India, and currently how the working has drastically shifted towards the AI technology. And the students who are studying class 10 and 12, how to study the subject of computers, sir has told us in a very beautiful way. So that's at this time I am ending my interview. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, students. Thank you.